This lecture was never meant for the world. No recordings were made, no transcripts kept. Only a few were present, those who, in Cayce's words, stood already at the threshold of understanding. The room was small, windowless, candlelit, lavender, and myrrh lingered in the air, their fragrance chosen not for decoration, but preparation. These scents, Cayce once whispered, cleanse the mind and open the soul to receive truth. He entered not like a preacher or a prophet, but as a man who had seen something. His gaze moved slowly across the faces of those few gathered. A doctor, a teacher, a young woman, mother to 5 children, all ordinary by appearance. Yet Cayce insisted there were no coincidences. Each of them had been called. "You are not merely listeners," he began softly. "You are travelers, pilgrims standing at the edge not of the earth, but of other realms." He walked toward the blackboard and drew a circle with a single stroke of chalk. "This," he said, "is the map of what awaits the soul after death." The room fell completely silent. Not a cough, not a shuffle, only breath, still and expectant. He divided the circle into 4 sectors. "The first trial," he said, "is awareness. The soul must awaken to the fact that it is no longer part of the material world. Many refuse this truth. They cling to the body, to their old name, their habits, but nothing binds them except memory. That is why even in life, we must practice letting go of things, of fears, of the false self." He looked slowly around the room, letting the truth settle. Some closed their eyes. The second sector is the encounter with the shadow. Here, the soul faces all it denied in life: envy, rage, shame, the hunger for validation. These rise not as judgments, but as images, reflections of what was never healed. The shadow is not the enemy. It is the buried child, the forgotten self. This trial, painful as it may be, is a chance to integrate. A quiet sigh escaped someone in the back. The third trial is revaluation of the earthly. Here, your deeds are not weighed by others, but felt by you. Every word, thought, and action echoes. What seemed grand titles, riches turns to dust, and what you dismissed a kindness, an apology grows fast. Here, the soul is not judged, it remembers. And then, he continued, the fourth sector, the choice. No angel commands where you go next. No gatekeeper forbids the path. But the soul, having faced itself, knows. It will see clearly whether it is ready for the light, or whether it must return to finish what was left undone. He put down the chalk. His voice, when he spoke next, carried a weight that those present would remember for the rest of their lives. This is why we are here, so that when the hour comes, your soul will not be caught unaware. He looked at them, one by one. Trials await you, he said, but so does hope, and preparation begins now. He walked slowly to the window, pulled aside the curtain. Behind it, only the night, quiet, black, infinite. "Do you understand?" he said softly, "that your soul agreed to these trials before you were even born?" There was a pause. Some nodded, others froze. What you call injustice, illness, betrayal, losses, not punishment. It is your own contract. You chose this for your growth. A woman in a blue dress whispered, "But why suffering? Why not joy?" Cayce smiled. "Do you remember how you learned to walk? At first falling, bruises, pain, but later freedom. The soul is no different. It stumbles, it cries, and only then does it learn to stand." A clock ticked faintly in the background, as though time itself leaned in to listen. "Many of you," he continued, "have already begun your preparation. When you forgive someone who never asked, when you help, expecting nothing in return, when you remain honest, even when it's easier to lie, these are not small things. These are the soul's footsteps on the hidden path." He turned again to the board, and this time drew a ladder ascending. Each rung is a quality that eases the soul's transition. The first, humility. Not humiliation, but the strength to say, I may be wrong. Second, courage not the absence of fear, but the choice to keep walking despite it. Third, compassion to feel another's pain as your own. Fourth, wisdom to choose the light even in utter darkness. He paused as silence rippled through the room. And the last, he said gently, is readiness for change. A soul frozen in the past, even a beautiful past, cannot move forward. He turned to the woman in blue once more. You lost a child, he said quietly, and your heart remained in that day. But your child has completed their lesson. Now, you must complete yours. Tears welled in her eyes. No one else breathed. You are not alone, Cayce said, his voice full of warmth. No soul crosses the threshold alone. There will be guides, some you loved, some you feared. But the soul sees not faces. It sees only light. He let the words sink in. Then he spoke again, his voice low and steady. And now, I will tell you, the main thing, that for which we have gathered. Everyone leaned in, breath shallow, heart open. At the moment of crossing, he said, it is not the body that defines you, not your name, not your career, not your failures or achievements. Only one thing matters, the vibration of your soul. He walked among them, meeting their eyes. Vibration, he said, is not mysticism. It is the echo of your daily thoughts, your feelings, your choices. Each moment, you are tuning your soul's frequency. That frequency is your passport beyond this world. A few exchanged glances. They understood this was about their lives now. The small choices, the silent prayers, the quiet guilt. And when you pass, he continued, you are drawn not by judgment, but by resonance. Light attracts light. Suffering attracts suffering. But even in the darkest places, growth remains possible. Nothing is final. At that moment, a breeze stirred the curtain. The candle flame flickered. You may ask, how do we prepare the soul? How do we shape this vibration? He walked to a table at the front of the room. Upon it lay an old Bible and 2 more books, collections of his own readings. He raised 3 fingers. First, purity of thought. Do not dwell in fear. Do not feed anger. Your thoughts create the field around you. If you wish to be near the light, think like the light. A man raised a hand. But what if I cannot stop the thoughts? What if fear comes uninvited? Cayce nodded. Even the highest souls face the shadow. Do not suppress it. Acknowledge it. Say, I see you, fear, but I choose love. He raised his second finger. Second, action. It is not enough to want to be good. You must do good. A smile, a kind word, a silent presence beside someone in pain. These changed the soul's weight, more than grand promises ever could. Some bowed their heads, recalling the times they had helped hand, the times they had turned away. Third, he said, raising his final finger, connection with the source. Call it God, the higher self, the light. The name does not matter. What matters is remembering I am not only this body. I am an eternal soul, part of something vast. He looked out at them once more. Tell me truthfully, have you ever felt, even in solitude, that you were not alone? Almost every hand lifted. That, Cayce said, is the connection. Then his tone shifted, lower, more serious. This was the first part, he said. Now comes the harder truth. He turned off the lamp. Darkness fell across the room. This, he said, is how it begins. A match flared in his hand. The small flame lit only his face. When vision fails, you must learn to feel. He extinguished it. The first trap, he said in the dark, is the illusion of quick freedom. Souls bound by hardship, illness, betrayal, grief often seek escape, and so, false lights appear. Beautiful illusions. They promise peace, but they offer only stillness. Some souls remain there for years, centuries, until they remember. Growth is movement, not rest. He struck another match. Not every light, he said, is true. He let it burn out. The second trap is the burden of regrets. Sudden deaths, guilt left unresolved. These souls linger between worlds. They haunt homes, dreams, moments, not to scare, but because they do not know they've left. He lowered his voice. Your duty, he said, is not to fear such souls, not to cast them out, but to pray for them. Remind them the path continues. Then he spoke of the third and darkest trap, power and control. He said, even beyond death, some seek to rule. In life they led armies, corporations, families. In death, they create false kingdoms, subjugating weaker spirits in the lower realms. Tyrants continue their games, now on the astral plane. A collective shiver passed through the room. But, he added, do not be afraid. The soul accustomed to truth will recognize the lie and pass by. Then, in a voice almost inaudible, he whispered, the light cannot be faked. And in that moment, the match struck once more. A tiny flame, surrounded by the infinite night.